Please can you tell me how? You're a summer light when the sun goes down. Even when the winter rains, you fall into me like the warmth of spring.
Faint lights in the distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the UT Austin League of Legends 1v1 Esports Open. I am Gem, Stratagem, the person that I told everybody to add in Discord there. Yeah, that guy. And I am here to walk you through how we're going to be running this. So this is a 1v1 event. It's going to be in Howling Abyss. It should be blind pick. So you are going to get to choose your champion blind. And you'll play either to First Blood. So that's one of the possible win conditions. First tower destroyed, or to reach 100 CS. So the 100 CS is kind of that ticking clock that everyone is playing for if nothing else develops. We're starting off our bracket here with Awaking Leaves versus Misashiki. I've got them both here in the lobby with me right now, and we'll be bringing you right to that in just a second. All right. A little bit of communication with them ahead of time, but we should be able to get right in. It's interesting. Awaking Leaves is going, go easy on me. The other one said, no, you. Awaking Leaves is the one with a significantly higher level, at any rate. They are plat. Misashiki, it appears, is bronze. I don't put a lot of stock in the ranking that it'll display there, but... Waking Leaf says they are silver. Plat and TFT. Well. Alright. They're both ready. Here we are in Champ Select. Alright. Not going to say anything just yet. Neither player is locked in, so I don't want to speak too much to the champions that they are playing. I don't want to give, like, screen peek advantage or anything like that. To the players, obviously, please do not be watching the stream during this phase. Sniping based on looking at each other's champion would obviously not be fair play. Alright, there's the lock-in from Awaking Leaves. And there's our lock-in from Misa. So we've got an Annie versus Lux. We've got a mid lane. This is an interesting one. Alright. So we're going to have a bit of a spectator delay here. This is the way that the game will force... it will make screen peeking impossible, basically. So we'll have just a little bit of time in between while we're waiting for us to be able to see the game. Put that back on there. I'm getting a couple of questions about the rules here. So let me just refer these really quickly to our TO. All right, we've been getting a number of questions regarding bans, being able to get 3 bans prior to blind picking. It would appear that is different communities have different established standards for that, and it would appear that is something that you guys are used to. We're happy to roll with that. We didn't officially put it in the rules, though. We don't want to like enforce someone who just, you know, didn't know that was a thing. We don't want to have to, you know, bring down the hammer on them or anything like that. So as long as you know, can both agree to having bans, then that is perfectly okay. But just make sure that you're both on the same page about that. All right, we're loading in here. One of the oddities of this spectator delay system is that occasionally, if the match is really over fast enough, if they just really go at it and try and kill each other, you can sometimes see the score report come out before you even get into the match on stream. So I'm trying not to look at that channel in the Discord right now, just in case. Annie versus Lux. This is a really interesting... They both embody a couple of archetypes that are really... Come on, camera. Why can't you go... Do I just have to click over here? I think I just have to click over here. That's annoying. Because it's not letting me pan to the right. Oh, wait, that's because I have the dead zone off screen. That's what's going on there. There we go. Now I can use that. All right. So we're loading in here. Let's take a look at what they are grabbing. Looks like they both just got in here, and they're navigating to their items. As I was saying, they both embody a couple of common archetypes in League of Legends. Lux being a poke and kite champ, whereas Annie more of a full all-in. She's going to try and put a whole bunch of burst on you. But she's very cycle-based. Annie's, when she wants to burst you, is very predictable because it's just based on when she hits that cycle in her abilities where her next one is going to stun. So if Awakening Leaves can just play around that and stay away while Annie is trying to use that, they should be in pretty good shape because they've got longer attack range. Their skill shots go further as well than Annie's do. So it's all a question of how well I think Misashiki can control space. If they can really get on top of Lux here, do a whole bunch of burst damage before they get poked down, then they can win fights. But as you can see, it's really hard for Misa to get in. On paper, Awakening Leaves should probably be able to kite away and just avoid ever getting bursted. But if they do, there's significant kill threat. So that's the real risk there. So far, Awakening Leaves chunked Misa for half their HP with absolutely no response. Misa's been really hard focused on farming so far. Worth noting here, Misa opting to go for boots early on. Maybe trying to be able to close the distance between them and Awakening Leaves a little bit better. There's Awakening Leaves opting for the Lost Chapter. Lost Chapter, a great choice for mana early on. Just because that's about, you know, usually in lane when your mana pool is going to start to stabilize, when you're going to really be able to just use your abilities whenever you want to, and it's less of a resource management game after you get that item. So Misa does opt to get a Sapphire Crystal and an Amplifying Tome, which, you know, that's most of a Lost Chapter there. Just opting to get a little bit less of that AP in favor of the movement speed instead. Kind of relying on the champion's own burst. So right now, 17 to 15 in terms of farm. Misa with the slight advantage, but... Oh, wait a minute. There it is. First blood. I was going to say, that's a low amount of HP right there. And that was all they needed. So that'll be the game. So, kind of a dominating performance there from Waking Leaves. They did not even get the... I mean, Misa did not even get the opportunity to go in and do any damage. They kind of hard-focused on farming. Never really got an opportunity to drop Tibbers, never really got a stun off or anything like that. I don't even think they landed an auto attack on Lux. And not trading back that damage did eventually come back to bite him. Lux felt perfectly safe going for a very long range all-in. That combo that she has, Q into ult, does manage to do it. Alright, not sure why it kicked me out of here. Alright. And gotta click that and that. Okay. So that'll be that first match, and they did get that into the score reporting. Hold on. Awaking Leaves is the winner of that. Didn't they put it in wrong? I think they accidentally reported the score indicating that they were the loser. Yeah, there we go. That was, in fact, a mistake on their part. Just making sure, like, hold the phone. Was I blind? Am I don't even know. Not even a dyslexic person would make that mistake. I don't know what I could call myself. But yeah, that was a win for Awaking Leaves. Alright, let's take a look at the bracket here. See if we can speculate on where that's headed. What our next match might be. So we've got looks like our number 1 seed is tagged Janamain XD. Janna would be an interesting choice for this format, to be sure. Probably not going for the first blood on that. Hard to say, but wouldn't think that's what they were gonna try and play for. And I imagine that we're holding off a little bit on score reporting just to make sure that everyone understands the greater than less than symbol. For those of you who were a little confused about our score reporting format here, think about that as in math class. Like, it's not like an arrow pointing to the winner. It's like the shark's mouth. The shark wants to eat the more fish. He wants to eat more food. That was how I was taught it in first grade. I don't know how you guys learned it. But it's greater than or less than. So if I lose to Simon, then the big end should be pointing towards Simon. The shark should be trying to eat Simon because he's the bigger fish. All right. So it looks like we're going to see more of Awaking Leaves now versus Janamain XD on stream here. So we'll invite Awaking Leaves back, and we'll have to see if I have Janamain added. I don't think they added me. There's the friend request. Perfect. Good timing, right when I called called for it. All right. So we've got an invite out to Janamain. There's Janamain. It's a little annoying that they give the rank that, you know, applies to TFT, considering that this is not TFT they were playing. It definitely says Howling Abyss on Discord. Hopefully, okay. Maybe I am blind, man. Okay, let's go. I was like, oh man, did I mess up? Did I set the room up wrong? But no, I don't believe I did. It's interesting. I have it set so that the music is off in game, but for whatever reason, just in this one part, it will play it. There we go. That's the way that should be. Can never be too careful with the whole DMCA mess. Alright. I'm not going to say anything about champions. Once again, just in the event that anyone has the stream open and might be listening. And there's the lock-in from both players. So we've got a Xerath and a Malzahar. So, once again, a mid-lane matchup. We saw Awaking Leaves playing the poke end of the spectrum with Lux in the last match, but this time we're going to see Janamain really playing that role. Xerath is a very long-range, skill shot-oriented champion. Pretty vulnerable up close, but if they're able to aim their skill shots well, they're able to really kite back really hard. When, I forget which AI project it was. It might have been OpenAI, I might be wrong about that. There was an AI project that they designed to, you know, hit perfect skill shots and things like that. And to take advantage of the bot's, you know, perfect play, they put them on Xerath. I think I actually saw it with some YouTubers. I think it was like Professor Akali. Who's that one Challenger Kane player? I forget. But it was Xerath that they chose because being able to have perfect aim was what made this champion as broken as any of them. The three, you know, challenger level players were eventually able to beat it, but only because there were three of them in one lane, because they were just able to kind of outpush. It was definitely killing them quite a few times. I think over the whole course of the game, they made it miss like 2 skill shots. Otherwise, it was just kind of perfect accuracy. So, you know, obviously a champion with an extremely high skill ceiling. And maybe it's something of a statement that they're making Janamain is, whatever their tag actually is, because that seems kind of like a troll lol XD sort of tag that they're putting on themselves. It might be something of a statement they're trying to make by playing this very high skill champion, saying, I think I can handle this, and be able to keep the Malzahar completely out. Malzahar, in the meanwhile, tactically does have a lot going for him here. There is, of course, silence. There's some really strong DPS using the little voidlings. They're probably called something else canonically, but knowing that would require me to know more of the lore of the game, and that's just kind of a crime in this community, so we won't go there. But a very strong all-in from Malzahar. So once again, it's kind of burst versus poke. A question of, can the Malzahar get in and make something happen, or are they going to just get kept at bay by Xerath's long-range skill shots? Xerath also, very similarly to the Lux that we saw Awaking pull out in the previous game, they're going to have a combo that they can execute at long range. It's not like they'll have to get in close to get the kill ultimately. They will definitely have opportunities to, you know, get all the damage that they need for that first blood from the range that they're going to want to play at. It's just a question of whether the Malzahar can also get in and trade damage from the shorter range that Malzahar works with. Alright, so they've loaded in. We've got Malzahar going for the Lost Chapter. And then we've got a Guardian's Orb coming out on the part of Xerath here. So they're going to have the same amount of AP. It's just instead of mana, we've got Janamain opting in for health. And, oh, and an Amplifying Tome, so even more ability power there. I think you get like 1,200 or something like that. I'm surprised to only see about 1,000 gold worth of items coming out. And that's, maybe I'm wrong. It looks like they've changed that since the last time that I've played Howling Abyss. It's looking like it's like 1,000 gold flat. Because the Lost Chapter is only 910, and then 2 potions would put you at 1,010. So I'm not sure exactly what that number is that you start with. Last I checked, I could have sworn it was 1,200 something. But obviously it's not that right now, or else, you know, you would have been able to buy more health potions. Alright. So, looking like they're both farming fairly well, and they're just kind of chilling out farming at the range that they're comfortable with right now. The lane's going to play just a little bit differently than it would in a standard game of Summoner's Rift, given that they both start at level 3 rather than level 1. So they're both going to have all of their abilities, or potentially in some cases one ability that has 2 levels in it, depending on how how useless the third one is in their level up kit. I think those are selling costs. That would make sense. Yeah, sells for. You're right, you're right. Because I was going to say, I could have sworn that a Lost Chapter is 1,300. So yeah, that would add up. Thank you for filling me in on that. That makes so much more sense. Alright. So the Voidlings crash on tower. So Awaken going to be able to kind of push into the tower a little bit here. It wasn't a ton of damage that they got right away, but once they level up more and are able to clear waves faster, that might become a threat for Janamain. Janamain is a little bit low on HP right now compared to Awaking Leaves, so as long as trades continue to go fairly, they shouldn't expect to win. And Awaking Leaves can kind of just put on pressure by making it more difficult to farm, especially for these two mid laners. You know, AD champions are going to have a little bit easier of a time in this kind of game of attrition, in that they can at least farm better under the turret and not miss the minions when they get forced back. Awaking Leaves sitting with almost double the CS at this point. So any of the long-term win conditions definitely looking to go in their favor. got Janimane, we can see, starting to use these skill shots to hit the entire wave and try and weaken them, because Awakening Leaves is really forcing his way through. Just deleting that back row of minions. Big damage coming out from Janimane. They're going to need that. They're marked for the Voidlings, so they have to back off a little bit just for the sake of getting some health back and de-aggroing those little puppet characters. But, ooh, that's big damage. Wait. Awakening Leaves has to be extremely careful at this point. Is there a health pack? They might benefit from going back and picking that health pack up. They're actually going to sit here in the bush. It just feels so scary, you know? If Xerath hits a single root, that could easily just be it for Awakening Leaves now. Oh, there's the ult, and that'll do it. First blood goes to Janimane XD. Whew. Finding that root right when they needed it. Here we are. So, well played on the part of Janimane there. Because while it was really difficult to stay in lane, they were able to stay alive well enough that they were able to find that root, take him out. And that ult, you know, you have to respect it as the Malzahar. I was really surprised not to see him go back and grab the health pickup. It felt like that was kind of necessary at that point. So, right now, we have a slight break before we're going to get our next match up. It's going to be Brandon MR32 versus Boba T. I don't know. It could be a number of different things that they're going for there. But I know I've added both of those players, so we should be able to get that going. They're in Champ Select. It looks like they started playing before we told them to. So we'll figure all of that out in the for the time being. But we have a couple of messages from, you know, the people at your campus that brought you this. This is E&E, Campus Events and Entertainment. They are the premier student programming organization on campus. They have 10 different committees, and each committee has its own unique focus and curates events around that focus. They're free to join, no dues, no applications. All you got to do is have a passion for something, literally anything, and show up to meetings. They have 120 events scheduled annually. There's something for everyone at E&E. They offer a diverse calendar of film screenings, invited speakers, cultural events, 40 Acres Fest, Texas Review, and more. Campus Events and Entertainment Recreation is also a part of this. It's where they turn hobbies into events. Recreation plans a diverse array of programs and events throughout the year to bring students together through active participation, shared interests, nostalgia, and play. And that's definitely what we're doing today. Those events include, but are not limited to, trivia nights, video game tournaments, crafting sessions, and our end-of-the-year Chillfest events. If you're interested in planning events, check out E&E's Facebook and Recreation Facebook and Recreation's Instagram, UT Recreation. Sorry, I stumbled on that a little bit. All right. Yep, they're in game already, so might need to grab somebody else here. One upcoming event that we have coming up is Pokepalooza. Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Want to have an unexpectedly fun afternoon with your friends? Excuse me. Come and celebrate Pokemon's 25th anniversary with campus events and entertainment recreation at Pokepalooza. The event will be held outside the WCP patio on Friday, the 26th of February at 2:30 p.m. Activities will include a Who's That Pokemon Kahoot and a Pokemon hunt across the UT campus. To become the Pokemon Master, you must capture a selfie with all the Pokemon scattered throughout campus. But don't worry, we'll provide you with your own Pokédex of clues to find them. Scavenger hunt begins at 3, and they'll start at the WCP patio, like we said. For those who wish to participate, follow the Instagram page for updates throughout the event.
Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you. I've gotta go all the way through time and space to find my voice, to see you. And I'll go. Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul.
All right, here we go. We're back with losers round 2 here. It's going to be Fluffy Pear versus Defenestrate. Hold on. I believe, yeah, Defenestrate is who we have seen as Awaking Leaves so far. So Defenestrate in the bracket, that's who we've been following pretty much this whole way through. But Fluffy Pear is new to us. So far in bracket, they played Danistine and lost that. They had a bye out of winners round 1, so we only have that one match to go off. Danistine now up against Janamain in winners quarterfinals, is what that will be. And we were going to watch a winners quarterfinals set, but they started without us. So here we are down in the losers bracket. Losers round 2. Awakening Leaves just gets even more airtime. Fluffy Pear is now locked in. Waiting on Waking Leaves to decide where they want to go. We've seen a couple different champions from them so far. Got a bit of a diverse champion pool there that they're willing to put it all on. Only 10 seconds left for them to decide, so they'll have to lock in pretty shortly. And there it is. All right. Maybe you had to switch the masteries back or anything or something like that. But we've got Awaking Leaves on Lux, and we've got Fluffy Pear on Akali. So this is an interesting matchup here because on the one hand, yes, you've got the whole all-in versus poke dynamic going on between Lux and Akali. Lux being a much stronger poke champion, Akali being more of an all-in. Akali is kind of all about being able to do your burst damage, but then being safe because of the Shroud, being able to just kind of avoid being aggroed again by retreating into the Shroud. But Lux does have a bit of a counter to that in that throwing an E into the middle of that Shroud, you're probably going to catch the Akali with that burst even if you can't see her. So it's still very possible that even if the W comes out from Fluffy Pear, we still see some significant damage being traded back from Awaking Leaves. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. In the previous League of Legends 1v1 tournament that we held most recently, it was on an older patch. And so Akali will definitely be seeing, you know, it'll be just a little bit different in terms of the items that are available. What everyone was running was the Hunter's Horn on Akali. There were, I think, 3 out of the top 4 players in that event who saw great success with that strategy. Akali was just really, really good for this. I believe at one point in time prior, there had been a patch that kind of broke Akali on Howling Abyss because her stats were being amplified more than they should have been. And so I think that a recent balance patch brought that back into alignment a little bit, but she was still really strong at that time. And, you know, Akali still, you know, a force to be reckoned with. It's not like a strong Akali is going to lose super hard just because of a matchup, you know? So we'll see what Fluffy Pear is bringing to the table. We've got about 35 seconds before the spectator delay is out. We'll bring you back in time to see that. And we're back, loaded into the Howling Abyss. Interesting. Okay, we see Akali going for the Hextech Alternator here, getting that ability power and also the extra little attack of damage from Revved, going for kind of maximum burst there. Then after that, building boots, maybe noticing the range difference and wanting to be able to close distance with the Lux, maybe chase her down if the opportunity affords. Meanwhile, we've got Awaking Leaves going for the standard Lost Chapter and a couple of health pots that they have been going for. And I don't know if they've seen Fluffy Pear here. That's going to be a nice little burst of damage. That's really all that they were able to put down. Did not get the E. I'm testing my champion knowledge there. I don't actually play Akali, so if I said the wrong key there, my apologies, but I believe that's the E, where you throw out the shuriken and are able to jump to them. I played old Akali, and that was fun. But she's a little bit more skill shot oriented these days. Ooh. Fluffy Pear threatening in that bush, but Awaking Leaves getting a little bit the better of that exchange there. Whew. Just dodges the Q. Waking Leaves might have a slight advantage here in terms of getting the farm, but Fluffy Pear is doing a really good job of closing it down by staying up in this bush here and causing, you know, damage threat. Because this lane is a little bit asymmetrical. Say as Awaking Leaves gets a nice little chunk of damage onto Fluffy Pear and forces them to back off just a little bit. The lane is a little asymmetrical. The minions are closer to this bush than they are to the bottom wall here. So we see Fluffy Pear positioning in this bush, and even though Awaking Leaves can use the full range advantage by staying away from it, Awaking Leaves also can't really see Fluffy Pear. It's a little bit safer for Pear to be where they are. Awaking Leaves doesn't want to like waste mana throwing skill shots in some place where they're going to miss. So it's part of the reason why we see Fluffy Pear with the slight minion lead right now. But it looks like with the wave being pushed in, Awaking Leaves is getting an opportunity to kind of catch back up. It's really hard for Fluffy Pear to push in this far, because if they get close enough to get to minions, Awaking Leaves just throws a blind Q through this bush, and now that's a big chunk of damage that you're going to take for basically nothing. It's also going to root, which is rough, because Akali is a melee champion, so it's going to be a lot harder to farm from that position. Kind of just wants Awaking Leaf to push the wave just a little bit further back out, so that Fluffy Pear can really bring the strength of this bush to bear on them. Looks like they might actually be trying to freeze a little bit and get the wave pushed even further back. Maybe then they'll go for an all-in. Again, grabbing those boots earlier suggests to me that maybe Fluffy Pear is going to try and run Lux down. Got a really big wave building up, and Fluffy Pear seems a little bit hesitant to go in and try and get the rest of this CS. This might be a little challenging for them to farm. And an ult comes out. It does connect, so, you know, the full damage is going to go out from there. Fluffy Pear able to burst down a lot of those minions, but does lose quite a few of them. Especially with Lux hitting the full combo prior to all of this happening and weakening Fluffy Pear by just a little bit. Those Qs are threatening every single time. Oh, here comes the all-in. Let's see if Fluffy Pear can make this happen. The Ignite comes out. There's the Q. Does a lot more damage, and Fluffy Pear able to take them out. Almost no damage done in return by Awaking Leaves. That was violent. Incredibly timed all-in there from Fluffy Pear. The boots did exactly what they were looking for. They got all the damage they needed. That was really a strong argument, I think, for Akali being a great champion still in this format. So that'll bring us back to the announcements page to look for another match. Looks like we're going to have Brandon MR, Mr. Brandon maybe, 32, versus King Queen Jack. Alright, here they are in Champion Select. King Queen Jack versus Mr. Brandon. For some context here, this is the winner's semifinals round. So the winner of this will go on to winner's finals and are guaranteed third at that point. The loser of this is guaranteed 5th place. On the other side, we've got Janimane XD versus Good Boy. So these guys are getting pretty close to the end of the event here. Making an argument for themselves in finals. Alright, they're both locked in. We've got an Aurelia from Mr. Brandon and an Alawi from King Queen Jack. So more of a top lane matchup that we're getting going here. Should be a nice change of pace. Alawi, an interesting choice for this format here. In my experience, just a little bit weaker levels 1 through 5. Once the ult comes in, obviously Alawi becomes kind of a beast. But that ult is a really pretty integral part of the kit. If they're not hitting skill shots, especially with that E, it can be kind of rough in the early going. They can kind of get bullied out by champions that have a lot of dashes, that do a lot of sustained damage. And Aurelia certainly does fit that description. So we may see, and maybe this is just my prediction, we may see our Alawi here playing really, really passive and just trying to farm up and hit 6, and maybe then looking for engagements. Aurelia, though, no slouch herself at level 6. Going to want, more of those sustained fights. Going to want the damage to continue to tack on and, be able to just be sticky and stick on to Alawi and continue doing the damage. Since I don't play these champions, I couldn't tell you what I think of their chances in the matchup itself. I play against them pretty frequently and know what I'm looking for against each of them there. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, huh? Quick word from the people who have brought you this event today. This is Campus Events and Entertainment Recreation, where they turn hobbies into events. Recreation plans a diverse array of programs and events throughout the year to bring students together through active participation, shared interests, nostalgia, and play. Those events include, but are not limited to, trivia nights, video game tournaments, gestures in a way that you can't see at the game that we're playing, crafting sessions, and our end of the semester Chillfest event. If you're interested in planning events, check out E&E's Facebook and Recreation's Instagram, which is UT Recreation. We're definitely thankful to them for bringing this event to us. Also thankful to E&E, as we've mentioned, the premier student programming organization on campus. There are really 10 different committees, each committee with their own unique focus. They curate events around that focus. Completely free to join, no dues, no applications. All you have to do is have a passion for something, really anything. League of Legends, maybe, huh? And show up to meetings. With over 120 events annually, there is something for everyone at E&E. They have a diverse calendar of film screenings, invited speakers, cultural events, the 40 Acres Fest at Texas Review, and more. Right now, we have League of Legends. So let's see what their builds end up being early on. On the previous patch that we had been running these tournaments, Hunting Horn was a very, very common item that you would see on 80 champions. But right now we've got Alawi coming out with a Phage. Definitely a reasonable choice, a pretty core part of their build. And then we've got a Vamp Scepter and a Dagger with a whole bunch of health pots. And then a Cloth Armor as well coming out for the Alawi. So Mr. Brandon coming to the middle here, King, Queen, Jack as well. That's a pretty intimidating outfit. Skin. Are those are canonically like tentacles, right? So, or is it hair? Is it just hair? Let me zoom in real quick. I think it's just hair. Purple hair though. Kind of wild. Just kind of agreed to stand there and look at each other. Might be that King Queen Jack is standing there in part to try and protect the tentacle. Wants to keep as many of those active in the lane as possible to increase the potential follow-up damage on things like their E. And of course their ult, which they don't have yet, but only a couple levels away. Might still be a consideration. Oof. Big damage coming out. Not able to get the combo before Mr. Brandon is able to escape the circle. That is, you know, typical of the matchup. But a good chunk of damage. Hitting both of those tentacles as well as the E and being able to beat up on the effigy of Mr. Brandon there. Oh, and there's the E again. It's such a suffocating tool that Lowy can use to just completely force you out of lane if you keep getting hit by it. Really need to be evasive and bait it out in order to have a chance in this lane. Almost gets it again. Honestly, that might have killed if the E had hit a second time. King, Queen, Jack playing a very dominating game right now. Does hit 6 first as well. So while Mr. Brandon does have the wave pushed in his favor a little bit here, going to be able to be a little bit safer at any rate. Does need to watch out for that all-in if it does come, because with a couple of tentacles out, that ult can still do a ton of damage. Might even be worth a dive. Does safely make their way to the ult, so that's a significant power spike for Mr. Brandon, and their health, it's worth noting, is all the way back up, in part thanks to that Vamp Scepter. That is a really great sustain tool, because not only does it support the champion's build, you know, you get some extra attack damage for it, as well as the lifesteal that's going to be helpful in fights, especially a long sustained fight that Aurelia is going to be looking for. But it's also just going to, you know, keep you alive after a trade goes wrong. So, let's see if Mr. Brandon can work their way back into this. It's a tall order to try and take out an Alawi that has ult. But, you know, even with any strong ability, there's always the option to just kind of bait it out and then try and go in when they don't have it back up anymore. Misses a CS there. Pretty much dead even in CS right now. They're doing a pretty good job between the two of them. Mr. Brandon playing very safe, just trying to let the wave push back towards them. Might want to grab that health pickup, or King Queen Jack is definitely going to nab that. Yep, there it is. They're both basically at full HP at this point anyway. Once again, thanks to the Vamp Scepter. Vamp Scepter is really doing work for Mr. Brandon here. Oh, there's the grab. Hadn't used that E in a while. Mr. Brandon probably wasn't ready for it. Not a ton of damage taken, though. Now, as far as Alawi E's go, that was definitely not as bad of a look as it could have been for Mr. Brandon here. Jack taking a turret shot, missing an E. This would be an opportunity if Mr. Brandon wanted to try engaging. With that E down, you know, could potentially put some more pressure on at the very least. Obviously, you still have to watch out for the ult. That's really the big scary one. I mean, I'm a Riven player. As soon as I see that E miss, I'm just like, oh, I'm pressing E. I'm pressing all of my Qs. I'm going all in on that one. So the farm still dead even. It's really going to be a tricky question which of them gets to 100 first. Mr. Brandon willing to just tank the damage because the minions are just this incredible source of health for them. Able to save a few of those creeps. Not all of them. But a pretty good under-turret farm, given the circumstances there. Given the pressure that was being put on. You might want to keep the wave just a little bit further away from turret. Got a couple of tentacles there, one of them being in the bush, so I believe Mr. Brandon will not be able to see that one until they get inside. Ooh, a little bit of damage getting traded back. The stun goes out. Mr. Brandon going to be able to walk away from this one. And dodge the E, goes back in with missed E. A little bit of a whoops there. That ult went that way. It's not a great way to remember the Presidium there. Ooh, and King Queen Jack gonna take this health too. I'm gonna beat the extra health that Mr. Brandon tried to sneak in there for out of him as he goes back in. So Mr. Brandon is at the farm lead right now. Definitely not out of it. Oh wait, they've got to be careful about the turret here. Turret first blood is a win condition, and that was a good chunk of it. At this point, they're able to do a lot of damage to the turret. Oh my goodness. Massive damage down onto Brandon. Already used the health pickup from back there, so I don't think they can afford to leave this turret alone, though. The turret goes down if they don't fight. I think the turret goes down anyway. I think Mr. Brandon is lost. Yes. King, Queen, Jack going in and getting the kill as well. They've, they do end up losing their lives to it, but it doesn't matter. The turret went down. That was our win condition there that activated. So, King, Queen, Jack putting the Alawi to good use. A later game than we've seen so far. You tend to see that with you know, the higher that you get in the rank for the players, they're going to make fewer early mistakes, allow fewer, you know, bad all-ins. But really unfortunate. You have to think, you know, how might that have gone differently if the Aurelia ult hadn't just completely gone off in, you know, the wrong direction. But that is definitely not it for Mr. Brandon. They will have the opportunity. Let me just make sure. Ooh. They put it on Summoner's Rift. Glad I caught that one. So we'll send an invite out. Get them in here. And who are they playing against? There we go. There it is. All right. So we're getting this all set up here. So hey, if you're looking for something to do out in February, maybe meet some fellow some Pokemon players, huh? Pokemon? Pika Pika? We like? Well, come and celebrate Pokemon's 25th anniversary with campus events and entertainment recreation at Pokepalooza. It's going to be held on the WCP patio on February 26th, 2:30 p.m. So you're going to get the event starting at 2:30. And then there will be something of a scavenger hunt that will start at 3 p.m. So you're going to go and take... you're going to capture a selfie. All of the Pokemon scattered throughout the campus. But don't worry, they'll provide you with a Pokédex of clues so that you can find them all. It'll start at 3 p.m. from the WCP patio, as we mentioned. If you want to participate, go follow the Instagram page for updates throughout the event. So we've gone through our champion select here. Got Janimane on the Xerath, like we saw earlier. Used to great effect against... that was... I'm trying to remember the tag that they are using in the tournament, because it's not the same as their in-game name. It was Defenestrate, that's right. To throw out a window, yes. It was against Defenestrate's Malzahar. So they put it to good use there. We saw them take a few chunks of damage early on, but be able to deal back the full combo and catch them out with maybe trying to stay in lane with a little bit too little HP, considering Xerath ult. But interesting, we've got bleeding here on Tristana. We don't typically see AD carries in these 1v1 events. It's usually mid laners or top laners, but Tristana, I mean, I suppose you could try and play something like an AP Tristana as well. That does, often compete in the mid lane, and the poke coming out, from a couple of auto attacks is threatening. It's just, Tristana is going to have to position really, really well. Going to have to probably dodge some skill shots here to be able to get close enough to the Xerath. Tristana being a hyper carry, part of the advantage that she gains as she levels up is an increase in attack speed. Sorry, not attack speed, attack range. And it's not going to be long enough to contest something like Xerath's skill shots early on. She's really going to have to kind of bank on maybe dodging something, just hitting an E and a couple of autos and trying to walk away. It seems on paper hard to do, but if we're playing AP Tristana, then we're talking about, using the W to jump in on Xerath and just get a whole bunch of burst damage down and try and blow him up. That seems almost more likely to me, what they're trying to go for, but I haven't seen AP Tristana in a good little while. I don't know how much of a thing that still is. But I've definitely seen it used to great effect. You get an AP Tristana rolling, and you kind of just blow up as soon as she jumps in on you, so... Could be a threat. We'll have to see. Did it just kick me out? What happened there? Gotcha. Okay, so the game is actually already over. And what happens there... Alright. I know what happened. So, we'll make sure that in future we're actually able to watch. I'm going to make a quick announcement. So what happens in that event is the match ended really, really early. Looks like Bleeding, they kind of walked me through what happened. So Bleeding turret dived level 3. So they lost that fight right away, you know, and before the 3 minutes had passed, before the spectator lag had gone up. And when that happens, it, you know, puts the game into the end state. If they stay in the lobby for long enough, I am actually able to go in and see the rest of it. But because both of them, I think, exited out of the game right away, the game ceased to be before I was able to spectate anything, and it doesn't actually let me go in and see it, even though the replay is saved on their end. So unfortunately, we did lose that one for stream. But what we will be able to see now is Janimane versus King Queen Jack. I am looking forward to that one. We've seen both of these players come a lot of the way through the tournament, Janimane especially. So we've got King, Queen, Jack, and Janimane in the lobby here. I'll talk about the champions that they choose once they're locked in. All right, let's see where we end up on this. All right, so no surprise there. And let's see where we end up. All right. Also worth noting, this match is going to be a best of 3. All right, here we go. Same champions that we'd come to expect from before. We've got Alawi versus Xerath. King Queen Jack made the Alawi look really strong in that previous match up against the Aurelia. Xerath, even more squishy a champion than Aurelia is. But the trick here is going to be, can Alawi even get close enough to do the damage that she needs to Xerath? It's really only the E that's going to reach super far. It's kind of, maybe it's going to be sort of King Queen Jack trying to freeze the wave up and force Xerath to kind of push into a stronghold of tentacles in order to get anything done. I don't know. This isn't a very standard matchup. It's, you know, someone you'd usually see in the mid lane versus a top laner. So, you know, in a team fight, the Alawi is just going to be gunning to try and get on top of Xerath and beat him up. But, in lane, might go a little bit differently. Xerath only having to worry about the one target. It'll definitely come down to the all-ins, I think. Like, if King Queen Jack is able to make an all-in happen, then that definitely goes in their favor, I think. But if after a fight, you know, the Alawi's kind of limping away and Xerath is able to fire back at them with maybe that ult or really any of their damage, that could be a bad situation. Taking a quick look at the rest of the bracket before we get this kicked off. This is winners finals, so winner of this is guaranteed second place and will be in grand finals where they will have to be beaten twice in order to lose the event. This is a double elimination tournament, so that means that you have to lose twice before you're eliminated. And the winner of this will not have lost to a single player yet, so that's a good position for them to be in. But the loser is definitely not out of it either. They will only have to beat one player in order to make it back up into that grand finals set and get a rematch. Currently in loser's side, we are in quarterfinals. We've got Mr. Brandon, the Aurelia that we saw against King Queen Jack earlier on, playing against TG Dog, who has made a bit of a run. TG Dog looks like was dropped down, I think, in round 1. Yeah, they lost in their first round of winners and have made it all the way back up into quarterfinals already. So that's already a great tournament from TG Dog. On the other side of that, we've got Good Boy versus Bob Eat, I think. We were going to see Bob Eat, but they started without us, unfortunately. So weren't able to spectate at that point. And Good Boy, who made it all the way to winners semis against Janna Main, where they were knocked down at that point. Let's see, have they beaten anybody else that we knew? Elementalist was DQ'd, and then they beat Klubo. So that one win actually got them all the way into winner semis. All right. We're making our way downtown, I mean into the middle of the lane.
Welcome to the howling abyss.
I am at Gregorio Gymnasium. I see.
Minions have spawned.
So a little bit of a stare down here, but King Queen Jack doesn't want too much of this, just because, you know, Xerath can do some poke damage. Looks like it's all starting. But King Queen Jack probably standing in that location just to get the tentacles to be in a relevant position. But standing still in that location is an interesting call. Almost like daring the Xerath to step forward and get hit with an E or something. So that trade generally going to go in King Queen Jack's favor, it looks like. They've just got a bigger health pool. Oof, but that poke damage, can't take too much of that or Janamane's going to catch right back up. Let's see what they started building. We've got a Phage and Boots on King Queen Jack's part, so different build that they ran last time. They didn't... Last time they ran the cloth armor. Obviously, they can't build magic resist with the amount of gold that they would have left. But the boots may be there to try and help dodge skill shots. And then we got a Guardian Orb on Xerath's part. Not worried about mana, just going for raw AP. Trying to get that poke damage out. And they're going roughly even in trades as a result of all that. Ooh. Nasty bit of poke coming out from Janamane there. Gonna have to be a little careful. Health pickup goes out from Janamane, but they're going to lose a lot of that from just getting hit with the E from Malawi. Decide to stick around, actually, and trade back a little bit. Which I think is maybe the right call there. Both at level 6 at this point, so King Queen Jack needs to be really careful about dropping too low, so he doesn't just get sniped out. But obviously, you know, Janamane now going to be a very easy kill if the ult goes off and does significant damage from Malawi. Playing it very long range right now is Janamane. Staying way behind their caster minions, not trying to risk getting jumped on. Queen Jack able to take control of this bush and get a grab, so that's going to do significant damage onto there. Skill shot goes out, but definitely more damage traded onto Janamane than onto King Queen Jack. Janamane does have this health pickup over here to go for if they want to. It's a relatively safe one to go for. But they're probably not going to try and miss these minions. They are a little bit behind in farm. So they're probably going to want to make this up if they're stuck under turret like this. Nope. Cutting their losses, just going for the health pickup there. But that allows King Queen Jack to grab this one. Unfortunate timing on that. You kind of want to be grabbing this one as you retreat back. I'm especially surprised that Janamane didn't grab that, considering that the bush over here is a really risky place for Janna to be hovering around. So you almost want to see them picking this up as they retreat to the tower. But maybe just the time that it spawned didn't allow for that. I'm paying attention to where that was. Ah yes, the all-seeing cannon minion. It's got the evil eye above its head. Ooh, nice bit of damage chunked onto King Queen Jack. Reads that he's going to be going for that minion there. Going back for the health pickup. Yeah, King Queen Jack definitely showing that they know the importance of controlling those health pickups. CS still slightly in King Queen Jack's favor. Nothing to write home about. Oh, this is big damage. And they did it to the effigy, so... Oh my goodness, that tentacle puts him in such critical health. The shield goes up. Is that barrier that they took? Yeah, they took barrier, so they actually barrier through that extra damage. They're able to heal back up a little bit, but King Queen Jack in a really dominant position in terms of health, and is able to widen that to a 10 CS lead. Also put a little damage on the turret. We did see King Queen Jack win by that win condition at one point earlier on. Both a little bit low on mana, so they're going to want to be a little bit careful about how they're using these abilities. You know, that missed E puts King Queen Jack in a tricky position here. Although Janamane is going to be forced to use some mana to clear the wave as well, so... Neither of them really on full power right now. The ult is up for Xerath, but doesn't really have a great opportunity to use it right now. It's really something you're going to see the Xerath want to use to maybe finish off a kill when their opponent's health is particularly low. And getting them that low, it must have been a miss. Maybe they're going for minions or something. Anyway, getting them that low is going to be tricky at low mana. Didn't end up building a mana recovery item, and with as long as this game has gone on, that might not be... might be hurting him here. Oof. Has to dodge a couple of tentacle shots here, or at least one of them. You know, if both of them hit, I think Janna might actually die from that. Ooh, and loses the health pickup from right in front of their tower. Is able to get a little bit of extra HP back, and the E goes pretty wide from King, Queen, Jack, so a little bit of a break from that, but still... Oh, that's so scary. You don't want King, Queen, Jack to be able to move in on that line. Grabs the health pickup. They're still in this game. This has been a good long one for round one. Ooh. Ton of damage done to the effigy. Not going to kill. But ooh. Oh, no, it does, because he doesn't dodge the tentacles. And that'll do it for King, Queen, Jack. So we leave from there. Now remember that it is best of 3 here, so they're gonna have another shot. So we'll get that next lobby ready for them for when they come in. So there's that. And where did King, Queen, Jack go? There they are. So that was interesting. As a top laner, you know, I generally one-trick Riven. I've played at a lot of other champions, but Riven's my most common one. So usually when I'm playing against an Alawi, my thinking is if I get pulled by the effigy, I just run out of the circle right away and try to dodge the couple of tentacle shots that are going to come out. Because they're going to be straight line skill shots, and I have 4 dashes as that champion. But it seems like as Xerath, it's a little bit trickier to get out of the way of those, and those tentacles by themselves that you get hit by from leaving the E area, those did seem to be enough to just tack on the extra damage and continually put Janamane at a disadvantage here. So we've got a new champion coming out from Janamane, King, Queen, Jack sticking to the Alawi that got him here. Janamane playing in Anivia now. Trying to think about what I think of this, because it seems to me like this might make it even harder on Janamane to avoid getting engaged on. I don't believe the W, the wall, is going to block Alawi's E, which is how she's, you know, getting the bulk of the damage that she's been doing so far. So maybe they're counting on the ult being able to slow Alawi down. Maybe they're counting on the stun to be able to lock Alawi up and do some significant burst, more significant than Xerath was going to be able to get. Maybe they're just trying to play the farm game, because, you know, Anivia's ult is a very strong tool for clearing waves. Also be interesting to see if they stick to the Guardian Orb here. I want to see if Janamane is going to decide to trade just the tiniest bit of extra damage back for the mana that you get from a lost chapter. So I'm interested to see how that'll go. Quick update on how the rest of the bracket is going right now. In losers semifinals, we now have TG Dog versus Bo Beats or Bob. I don't know. There are a lot of different possible pronunciations there. So Mr. Brandon has finally fallen. Will take 5th place, as has Good Boy. TG Dog with the round 1 loss. Who was that loss to? Who did they drop to? They actually did drop to Bob, their opponent here, in losers semifinals. So this is their chance to avenge themselves after that very early departure into the losers bracket. They fought their way really far to get there, too. They went losers round 2, 3, 4, and 5, and won all of those matches to be able to get to where they are currently. So it'd be a cool comeback story if they're able to pull it off. Got Hextech Anivia coming out. We've got the steampunk bird. Rises from the ashes of the Zeppelin explosion. I don't know. Alright, let's see what their builds end up being. They do, in fact, go for the Lost Chapter, like I thought they might. This is a very mana-hungry champion. Every instant that their ult is out, and they can keep it out for a pretty long time, it is draining mana. So the more mana, the longer you can keep that ult out, the more of that zone of control you can establish. And I think that's a wise choice, given the circumstances. Grabs a couple of other health pots, but notably, the Alawi's going to be faster, having grabbed the boots. Same loadout that they grabbed previously. The Phage and the Boots of Speed here. Alright. King, Queen, Jack sitting still for a second, gets the tentacle made. Q goes widely astray, but does get the E damage out. Does Janamain. Playing pretty aggressive here, considering the health pools of the two players relative to one another. Now, of course, Anivia does have that built-in resurrection mechanic, which, whew, closer to being put to good use than I think they would maybe like at the moment. Gonna have to dodge one more, and they do, and they get the Q into E combo. But King, Queen, Jack able to heal a lot of that back up, and then just gets an E again, and so that's big damage going back onto Janamain, on top of having to worry about both of these tentacles swinging at her now. Oh no, that's a really weak Anivia there. Needs to not get hit by another E here. This is so brave going in for this. Granted, the egg will drop right here in turret range, and so if Alawi really wants to go after it, she's going to have to dive. And at the amount of damage that she's got right now, it's probably not going to happen. It's just... dangerously close to being a good idea. Oh, and the first blood comes out. Doesn't even need the resurrect. Just chunks her out. Great play there from Janamain, knowing the champion's limits, being able to put that damage out when they need to. All right. So that's 1-1 in the set. Need one more of these games to determine who our winner is going to be. You'll love to see it go to a game 3 in the best of 3. So the Anivia choice coming in clutch for Janamain there. We'll have to see if they go back to it. They were hovering it there, but we're going to cut to a little bit of a break beforehand. So we have a few people to thank. One of them is Campus Events and Entertainment Recreation. One of them is E&E. Events and Recreation is where they turn hobbies into events. They plan a diverse array of programs and events throughout the year to bring students together through active participation, shared interests, nostalgia, and play. Those events include trivia nights, video game tournaments, crafting sessions, and their end-of-the-semester Chill Fest event. If you're interested in planning events, check out E&E's Facebook and Recreation's Instagram, UT Recreation. E&E is the premier student programming organization on campus. It consists of 10 different committees, and each committee has its own focus and curates events around that focus. They're free to join, no dues, no applications. All you got to do is have a passion for something and show up to meetings. They have 120 events annually. There's something for everyone at E&E. They have a diverse calendar of film screenings, invited speakers, cultural events, 48 Acres Fest, Texas Review, and more. One of the events that they are running that's coming up here is the Pokepalooza. Pokepalooza is on Friday the 26th at 2:30 p.m. Let's run back to that real quick just so we can... Hey, no, stay. There, good slideshow. It's going to be at 2:30 p.m. on Friday the 26th. It'll include a Who's That Pokemon Kahoot, as well as a Pokemon scavenger hunt across the campus. You'll need to find all of the Pokemon scattered around and capture it by taking a selfie with it. You'll have a Pokédex of clues to find them. That scavenger hunt will start at 3. The event will start at 2:30, so you have a little bit of time to make it to the WCP patio. Those who want to participate, follow the Instagram page, and you'll get updates throughout the event. Now we're going to bring it back to the game, because there's been an interesting development here. King Queen Jack has switched off the Alawi. So it looks like they're opting into a matchup that they think will go well with against the Anivia. I have to imagine that, Victor being a mid lane champion, they're making this choice specifically with the Anivia matchup in mind. So it's going to be a Victor coming out. We haven't seen King Queen Jack play anyone but Alawi so far on stream this tournament, and I have to imagine that based on the way they were just kind of insta-locking Alawi every time in the other sets that we've seen, that they've been riding that Alawi all the way up to the winners finals here. So this is the first time King Queen Jack has been put on the back foot. We'll have to see if this counter strategy is something that they've practiced a lot on, that they're going to do well with, or if this is kind of a desperation strat when playing against the Anivia didn't work. Curious to see how this ends up. At just under a minute now on the spectator delay, so we should be in there fairly shortly. Reminder, this is the deciding game of this best of 3 set that they're playing in winners finals here. So winner of this is guaranteed second place. They've won their spot in grand finals. The loser will drop into losers finals, which is the last round of the losers bracket, and they will have to play against the winner of TG Dog and Bob Beats. Or I really need a pronunciation guide on this name. I have no idea. It could be Bob. It could be a misspelling of Boba T. It could be Bobbeat, Bobeat, Bobay. I don't know. Bobby HT. I got nothing. But so the winner of that will be guaranteed third place and will go on to play against the loser of the match that we are just about to see on stream right now. Loading up nice and quick. You'll love to see it. Nobody playing on a toaster. All right. So there they are. Let's see what their first items are. Both going for the Lost Chapter. I would assume. That's what Janimane went last time. They haven't bought yet, though. I wonder if this means if they're thinking about it or they just got in a little bit later. They got in a little bit later. Going with the same exact loadout. Both out on the rift here. Oh, there's a Poro. There's a Poro following him around here. Is he gonna feed it? I think you get an item to feed it by default in this mode, don't you? Show the Poro some love. Come on. So here we are. Starting off our laning phase. This Bobeat guy seems really strong. I just got word it's Bubbeat. Can we get Poggies for Boobot? Boobiot? Trading really aggressively right off the bat. Each of them chunked for about a third of their health. I have to imagine maybe they're just kind of testing their damage out against each other. Ooh, and the slow goes out. Looking for the E, decides it's not worth getting stunned for it. Trap goes down from King Queen Jack to discourage that. King Queen Jack at the level advantage right now. Oh, but gets walled in and massive chunk of damage coming out from Janimane. The Ignite goes out, but the health pickup might be enough. No, it is not. Janimane able to clutch it out. Going down game 1, switches to the Anivia, and that ends up being what gets them into grand finals. Really exciting match to watch there. Good stuff. Looks like they were the #1 seed for a reason there. All right. So, we are currently waiting on losers semifinals between TG Dog and Bob Friend. Bobby Flay, Boba Feet. Yes, all of these. All of these are correct. Or maybe we were saving that for stream. We were saving that for stream. This is going to be a best of 3. That's exciting. Not Clash. Looking for this. Get that invite out. And there's TG Dog. Ooh, I just got a message from TG Dog. They might want to rejoin. So we'll have to see if there was an issue here. Alright. Looks like they're just going to go for it here. Alright, looks like we're going to roll with it. I wonder if they agreed to this ahead of time, or if this is just happening coincidentally. Alright. So they've opted into the Yone Ditto. I don't know if they did this on purpose, or if this was just a coincidence, but we haven't seen Yone yet so far, but not entirely surprising to see Yone being used in a 1v1 event here. A true test of skill between two masters of the blade. Or something like that. Trying to think what could really differentiate them, if they're going to go for different builds, if they're going to go for different skill orders. It's probably just going to be a matter of who Yone's better. Who can hit their skill shots, who can farm better. It's not really even that much of a skill shot. I guess the ult is kind of a skill shot. Gotta not miss that. That's important. So I'll be back to bring you that game shortly. Here we are. See what our Yones decide to go for. Got a Guardian's Hammer on both sides here. Got a Cloth Armor. And then how is TG Dog going to finish out their itemization? We got a Cloth Armor in 3 pots. Then we've got Boots in 3 pots. Nice. So maybe they didn't intend for this. Maybe this was actually just a coincidence. If they both picked the same champion, that would be funny. If I was in here, I would have wrecked all of y'all. Would have wrecked all of y'all. Yes, exactly. Would have hit us with the Rhett Butler. All right, here we go. It's nice. One's got white hair and the other's got black hair. The different skins, they're differentiating each other really easily. So Bob with the white hair, TG Dog with the black hair. Whew. Dodges away with the E. Clever use of it there, and gets the knock up on the Q. Not able to follow up any further. The E was already used, so there's no way to close that gap anymore, but little tap. He's got the shield building up a little bit more. It's a little bit of a chunk, but man, they just keep getting shields off each other. And they haven't actually really taken meaningful damage yet. Whew! Some sick dodges that these guys are making on each other right now. Bunch of sound and fury signifying nothing, though. Their health bars have not been touched yet, despite a couple of attempts to trade. Both just playing super passively for now. Extremely even in CS as well. Slight advantage, I would say, to Bob right now. Little bit of damage going out to TG Dog, which he is immediately going to heal up with the health pickup. Bob's still sitting on his back here, so can go for that. Might have the ability to play a little bit more aggressively if he gets an opportunity here, just because he's got that going for him. Oh, and a big miss from TG Dog. Might allow Bob to push in a little bit harder now, but TG Dog is pushed back far enough under the turret that probably not much of a threat there. Although level 7 for Bob, that is an opportunity. So it's a small window where they're going to have a slight level advantage. And it's up. Both abilities used for TG Dog, but again, not a lot of damage traded back. Might just be that with the Guardian Hammer, they don't have the same kind of power that the AP champions have had to really go all in. Bob getting the worst of that trade. Probably the most significant damage trade that they've had so far. Oh, there's the ult as well. TG Dog going all in right now. The ult's back. Alright, gets chased out pretty hard by TG Dog there. Gonna be able to heal back up to about the same amount of HP that TG has, but TG gonna have a little bit of uninterrupted time with the wave for the time being. With a match that's been, you know, this far away from either of them killing each other, you have to think that objectives like turret first blood and CS lead are going to come into play. TG Dog getting the worst of that trade purely because of the tower shot that he took, but that is not an insignificant amount of turret damage, and it's only going to get worse for Bob as TG Dog levels up and gets more attack damage. Bob deciding that he wants this fight at the level advantage here. Opts not to chase any further, and I think wisely, TG Dog actually hitting level 9 in the middle of that. Yeah, I figured out it was wrecked. I don't know if anybody else did, but... TG Dog farming decently under turret. Loses a couple there, but gets the rest. 46 to 45 in his favor at the moment, with the wave being pushed in this far. That is a bit of an advantage for him. That means Bob has taken an extra wave in the meantime. L Panther 3. It's just saying their own name repeatedly here. Claiming the chat for L Panther. The dash goes in. TG Dog trying to auto attack a little bit. Not really getting any damage done there. Wrecked. Yes, indeed. We're wrecked. That's how the gamers say it. TG Dog going in pretty aggressively. The E comes out from Bob. Bob hitting way more of his damage right now. TG Dog kind of out of cooldowns, and so that's going to take TG Dog pretty low. I think a big part of this, besides them not having quite as much attack damage, is that the item also gives health and lifesteal. I think the combination of those two is making it so that it's hard to chunk them down all the way, and they sustain back up so quickly. TG Dog, after, you know, getting ulted and all in, almost back up at full HP at this point. This is one matchup that definitely might come down to CS, because no significant damage has been done to the turret since that early bit. Definitely a bit of a scrap going on. Bob preferring this fight right now, but neither of them able to come out with a very meaningful lead right now. 66 to 62. It's a slight advantage in Bob's favor, but again, the wave is pushing toward him. Actually, no, that means that he's got a little bit more of a lead. TG Dog, I think, in trying to fight as much as he has been neglecting a little bit of his CS. That's allowed Bob to pull out to about a one-wave lead. The ult misses. That's crucial. And that means Bob's will be up again fairly shortly. So Bob, yeah, maybe about another 20 seconds or so on the cooldown, I think. Trying to go in for more fight. Doesn't really need to. He could be playing the attrition game right now if he wants to be. He's going to eat a chunk of this health pickup, which is going to be helpful to him. Hits level 13 first as well. Might have to just keep the scoreboard out and see who wins on CS, unless they decide to really go for the fight. TG Dog brings it back in the CS department here. Super close game right now. They're going in. Last 20 CS for both players. Bob's starting to push the wave a little bit, trying to put on a little bit of pressure maybe on the tower or on the CS advantage. Auto-attacking more minions. Maybe trying to get the tower to kill some of his own minions to deny. That would be a smart strategy right about now. But it also does mean pushing the wave toward his opponent, so opponent is going to get access to that farm first. Oh man, super close one. After this wave, we might well be at a one-wave difference, and I don't think it's going to come to the fight at this point, unless they just sit there and auto-attack each other like gentlemen. There's the ult coming out of TG Dog. The exhaust is put down on TG Dog, but Boba definitely getting the worst of that. Ignite was used. Going for the fight again. Doesn't want this to end on CS, and I think he's got an opportunity. Oh, but there comes the ult from Bob. Oh, this is so close between the two of them. They're going to fight it out. They don't want this to go to farm, and TG Dog is the winner. Wow. Ended on fireworks. neither of them really feeling confident in just going for the CS win. Because they were both so close. That is a risk, and at that point, maybe you just put it up to who's going to fight more effectively. It says they're currently in a game. I hope they're not playing game 2 out right now. We might be losing that one, unfortunately, but we'll have to see. Oh, wait. That's my bad. That wasn't a best of 3. That was it right there. TG Dog is the winner. This is losers semis, not losers finals. So congrats to TG Dog for making the upset against the player that put you in losers in the first place. That's a huge win right there. So that's going to put us into losers finals between TG Dog and King Queen Jack. So I'm looking for King Queen Jack here. And there's King Queen Jack. Perfect. I believe this one should be best of 3, but let me confirm with my TO really quickly. All right, so this one is best of 3. All right, getting into champion select here. We'll show it once they're both locked in. What I call blasphemy. I would like to accuse my opponents of blasphemy. They ought to be excommunicated from the tournament, and I should get the free win. Ban the heretic, please. All right. So we got an Aurelia versus the Tristana that we saw previously. Actually, we lost that match previously, so we weren't actually able to see it before. King Queen Jack actually taking out the Aurelia. We saw King Queen Jack against an Aurelia earlier on, but this is their first foray into the champion. So interesting that they've opted to go for a different pick here. Might be that because they are in the best of 3 now, they're interested in trying something new out to see if the Aurelia is going to come through for him here. Or it might also be that they just know TG Dog I don't think they ran into them earlier in tournament? Question mark? No, they didn't. So they would have had to have known from prior experience with this player, which isn't out of the question by any means. You know, they both go to the same school. They're both very strong League of Legends players from the same school. You'd think they might have heard of each other, and so maybe this is a counter pick, knowing what TG Dog is going to come out with. It's also possible, maybe they were watching the stream and they saw what TG Dog picked earlier. Hard to say. But it's interesting because normally, you know, Tristana being an AD carry and having that mechanic where the more she auto attacks you, the more her E builds up and does more damage. So normally, you know, as the Tristana, you want to be doing more sustained damage. You want to be auto-attacking it for longer. But Tristana is squishy, and Aurelia is not entirely squishy. And Aurelia thrives off of long engagements. So I'm not sure how that actually breaks down. You know, you might actually see Tristana playing a burst playstyle instead. It's definitely possible that they're just going AP Tristana and trying to play it that way. In which case, that would certainly be the Tristana trying to just jump in, do as much damage as possible, and run away. We will see shortly. It's interesting how the game starts you out in this like level 1 state, kind of frozen there, not doing any animations. There's not as much color or life to the area around you, and then like level up, and now you're going and doing stuff. A little view into the way that the game is programmed, I suppose. Ooh, TG Dog going for the initial aggression. Only able to pop an E on before King Queen Jack is able to retreat to the safety of the turret. So not a lot going to come of that. Welcome to UT Austin's League of Legends tournament, Bab. I'm commentating, not playing. This is correct. It is not my forehead that is relevant to the game right now. Oh, there's the jump in with the W and the E. Jumps into the bush too, able to get a ton of damage out. And there's the W again. Huge damage and aggression from TG Dog here. What did he end up building? Ended up going the Guardian Horn, okay. So no AP Tristana weirdness, but I don't know how long it takes AP Tristana to actually come online. I don't know how worth it might actually be. This is just a really aggressive AD Tristana, which is cool. You'll love to see it. That lifesteal from the Guardian Horn going to be coming up big as well. And an interesting build here that we haven't seen yet from King Queen Jack, actually going the Hearthbound Axe. So going for damage and attack speed as well as the move speed. Maybe the plan was to try and track the Tristana down, but clearly the Tristana has been tracking them down instead. A little bit of cloth armor is going to help with survivability, but there's no built-in health regen mechanic here. There's no, like, Vamp Scepter like they were running before, or not them, like their opponent was running before. Whereas meanwhile, there's 10% lifesteal on the Tristana. So she's always going to be topped off unless you really go in and make her hurt for something. Oh my god. Gentlemen, I know some of you are very strong League of Legends players. Do any of your simps ever ask for forehead pics? Or am I the only one? Oh my god. TG Dog grabbing the health pickup purely just to deny it. Absolutely not damaged at all, but wait, first turret blood is actually a win condition here. I don't think King Queen Jack can even stop this. He could just auto-attack the turret the rest of the way and he's done. And he wins the fight anyway. Wins it twice over. That's the best of 3, right? No, just kidding. That's not the way that works. But big win coming out for TG Dog. This Tristana strategy working really well for him so far. So we'll have to see how King Queen Jack is able to adapt to this. Uh-oh. Did they start off without me? Did they abandon me? I don't see either of them, actually. There's TG Dog. Okay. It's odd. I'm not really sure why King Queen Jack and TG Dog aren't showing up right away in my friends list. It's like they don't even want to be friends with me. Maybe they're in that awkward in-between zone between clients and game. Hard to say. Well, at this point, TG Dog is up 1, and it's on King Queen Jack to kind of figure out a way around this Tristana. Looks like they've been most comfortable playing top lane champions. So we've seen the Alawi come out, we've seen the Aurelia just now, but they did go for the Victor against Janna Main XD earlier. So they have shown an ability to play mid lane champions, and they might rotate to try and counter this Tristana in some way. We'll have to see how it goes. I think the play here for TG Dog is definitely to stick with what's been working, and to see if King Queen Jack can find a way to counter it. Did the invite not go out? Come on. Invite. Work. Maybe they denied it or something. Oh my god. I love how Bab just completely took over the chat just now. That's hilarious. Oh hey, I like this song. I actually listened to this on Spotify. It's I want to say it's called Interstellar by Laszlo. Anyway. We've got our Monster Cat playlists because DMCA is spooky. And we're spooked. But, or no, wait. I don't think that's what this is. What is this called? Destination. That's what this one is. Foreheads don't show themselves. I'm just building anticipation, you know? That way it'll be better when you finally get it. Whoa, okay. Wasn't expecting that to come out of Champ Select. We've got a Yone, and we've got a Sivir. So TG Dog, I think, expecting the counter to the Tristana, and King Queen Jack going an 80 carry to try and play. It seems like they like going a champion that actually plays in that lane. Maybe it's just because they know the counter matchups better within the lanes. So, like, you know, I don't know what mid laner is going to counter this 80 carry, but I know an 80 carry that'll counter that 80 carry, you know, that kind of idea. That might be the idea. Because Sivir, what I'm thinking they're thinking there is the Spell Shield. They use the Spell Shield to eat all of the E damage that Tristana tries to put out. And take away a lot of Tristana's DPS from just getting rid of that one ability that she's going to itemize pretty heavily for. You know, Tristana's going to take Hail of Blades, get that third auto attack out as quick as possible. And he's going to build a lot of her kit around getting that bomb to blow up. But TG Dog just kind of skipping off of that instead and going for the Yone that won losers semifinals. And I believe between the two of them, it was actually not an agreement or anything. Like, they didn't both decide to go Yone. So this was a deliberate choice that TG Dog made in that set. And clearly they've got something of the idea how to play this champion. It's not just a gimmick choice or something like that. Like, we've seen silliness on here before, you know? We've seen, like, Yumi Dittos. But the Yone is definitely a choice that TG Dog is willing to try and, you know, take the tournament on. If they win this, they will advance to the grand finals. So, very good look for them right now. They're up a game. King Queen Jack fighting to try and get the rematch from winners finals where they dropped to Janamain XD. They're going to have to win the next 2 in a row in order to get there. And then they're going to have to win 2 sets in a row against Janamain once they get up there to win the tournament. Trying to think how this how this matchup's going to play out here. Yone definitely has the stronger level 6 power spike. Sivir, you know, it might be a good escape tool if Yone is going to try and all in, but you know, if you get locked up by the ult, Sivir ult isn't going to do an awful lot for you. Might be, I mean, you might be able to tank it with the spell shield though, so I don't know. It's tricky. Pizza delivery Sivir, of course. The sneaky cosplay. So see, we got this like level 1 frozen state for a second, and then everything lights up. The lighting is here, the animation is here, levels up twice. It's kind of cool seeing that at the very beginning of the game. Like, that's something that you don't get to see as the player. Alright, so TG Dog already got his items figured out. He's got a Guardian Horn, or Guardian's Hammer, rather. Got the boots and got 3 health pots. And then we're going Guardian's Hammer as well for the Sivir. So they're going to be on pretty even footing there. But Sivir actually going for the longsword. So drops one of the health pots in favor of doing more damage. Just going to sit there spinning that pizza menacingly. What in the world are you typing in chat, Bab? All right. Starting off, looks like they're just going to focus on farming for now. No one trying to put down any particular pressure. Yone's letting the wave push to him. Able to clean it up with that dash. Going for a little bit of an extended trade there. Neither of them really coming out on top. They just stand their ground. Health pickup brings TG Dog a little bit more back. Just goes for it again, seeing that King Queen Jack is willing to just stand there and fight him. Might as well try and tack on a little bit of damage while he can, while he's not getting poked out by the big spinning pizza destructo disc. No significant farm lead. I think these are both the same wave crashing into each other now, so pretty much dead even. Dash goes in. Oh, and the ult as well. Massive damage on King Queen Jack. The ignite ticking down, but I don't think it's actually going to do it. But that is a really significant lead for TG Dog. And significantly, Sivir didn't get any damage back while that was going on. Took a little bit of damage from the E, and then the ult locked him in place, and he had to just run away instead of being able to attack move or anything. Oh, there's the dive with the E. Doesn't decide to commit to it, but the threat was there. King Queen Jack, though, going to be able to use some of this lifesteal to get back. Did not respect the bush. Whew. This is a really scary situation for King Queen Jack. He's got to just kind of sit back, farm up, use that lifesteal on the minions. That has been really useful to a lot of players so far. But man, it would also help to get some poke on TG Dog. TG has just not been hurt. Welcome, Han. This is the UT Austin League of Legends Esports Open. Commentating losers finals here between King Queen Jack on the Sivir, TG Dog on the Yone. How do I join? A little bit late, unfortunately. We're already in losers finals, but the event link would have been posted by Campus Recreation, E&E. They did some marketing for it, so you can look out for the next one from those guys. Talked a bit about those two organizations already today, but right now we've got some pizzas to watch be thrown. So I'll tell you about all of that stuff in just a second. Alright. See where the farm is at right now. Significant advantage to Yone. You can see that fight reflected in it. Sivir out of mana, but it has been able to make the health pool back up at least. But clearly the farm advantage is going to go in Yone's favor, and TG Dog might just opt to sit back, last hit only, and try and freeze this wave. Because King Queen Jack really can't walk up to this. Just doesn't have the mana to fight back right now. TG Dog going and harassing for getting the health pickup. Oh, but does dodge the ult. King Queen Jack stays safe that time. So this gives King Queen Jack a bit of a window. Maybe it doesn't. Going all the way back onto the secondary turret here to stay alive. Oh, this turret is so close to dead right now. If TG Dog can push it just a little bit harder, honestly, it might be worth it to go for the dive. It is. TG Dog goes from being out in the very first round of the tournament that they played to grand finals, all the way through the loser's side. A really impressive run. The Cinderella story. You'd love to see it go all the way. See if that happens. While we're getting all of that set up for you, let's talk a little bit about the people who made this possible for y'all. This is brought to you in part by REC, which is Campus Recreation. Recreation plans a diverse array of programs and events throughout the year to bring students together through active participation, shared interests, nostalgia, and play. Those events include but are not limited to trivia nights, video game tournaments, crafting sessions, and the end of the semester Chill Fest event. If you're interested in planning events, check out E&E's Facebook and Recreation's Instagram, the UT Recreation Instagram. Also bringing you the event today is Campus E&E, Events and Entertainment. It's the premier student programming organization on campus. They have 10 different committees, and each committee has its own unique focus and curates events around that focus. They're free to join, no dues, no applications. All you gotta do is have a passion for something. Anything. Could be, I don't know, League of Legends, maybe. Just a thought. And show up to meetings. With over 120 events annually, there's something for everyone at E&E. They have a diverse calendar of film screenings, invited speakers, cultural events, 40 Acres Fest, Texas Review, whole bunch of stuff. On top of that, one of the events that these fine folks are planning for you is called Pokepalooza. It's a celebration of Pokemon's 25th anniversary. They're going to have a scavenger hunt that starts at 3 p.m. And the event starts at 2:30 p.m. with a Who's That Pokemon Kahoot. Scavenger hunt is going to mean that you get clues and you have to hunt around campus to take a selfie to capture all of the Pokemon that are hidden around there. It'll start at the WCP patio once again at 3 p.m. on Friday the 26th. So if you want to follow along and participate, check out the Instagram page for updates throughout the events. We've mentioned that Instagram already before. All right. Here we go. It's time for the main event. It's going to be Janamain versus TG Dog. Just waiting for Janamain to make their way online here. Not seeing them on my end just yet. There they are. All right. We've got them both in the room here, so it'll be as soon as they're both ready. Janamain says, "Hello, Mr. Guy." I am ready. There we go. Alright, let's see who they end up going with. We've seen pretty diverse champion pools between them before. Should be kind of a greatest hits compilation of the champions that they've played so far. Waiting on commenting on the champions, but I'm itching to talk about them. As soon as TG Dog locks in. There we go. We got a Tristana versus Anivia matchup coming in here. So Janamain found more success with the Anivia than the Xerath that they had been playing all tournament once they ran into King Queen Jack. The Anivia, they were getting more burst out of it looked like. They were able to wear down the HP of their opponent better with it than they were with the Xerath's, you know, slower, pokey playstyle. Meanwhile, the Tristana, I think, is undefeated as far as we've seen. They opted not to go for it for Game 2 of the Losers Finals set here. But it looked like it was working just fine. It's going to be interesting to see how Anivia handles that aggression. Because, you know, Tristana is squishy. You know, the Anivia burst isn't something they can just completely ignore, as much as they made it look like they could ignore burst damage by just diving in on their opponents in the previous matches there. Lots of W resets. And lots of... They've especially been trying to, like, whenever their opponent is near the bush, TG Dog has been jumping into the bush close enough that the W impact hits, but then they've been able to, like, retreat to the bush so that their opponent loses aggro on them for auto attacks. Now, auto attack's not going to be anywhere near as significant a source of damage for Anivia. Once she's getting auto attack, she's going to be able to, you know, throw that E out there, and that's the point and click. The Q, she's going to be able to fire in there just based on her knowledge of where the opponent is. And, you know, worst case scenario, if the Tristana's trying to hide in the bush, just put an Anivia ult in there. What's she going to do about it? Walk quickly? Ha! Ha! Silliness. Get things going in about 30 seconds. We'll see y'all then. Alright, first game taken care of there. TG Dog with a pretty dominating performance on the Tristana. Janimane had a lot of success against King Queen Jack on the, I believe it was the Alawi versus Anivia matchup there. But Tristana proved just a little bit too slippery. Just getting a little bit too much, too many auto attacks off in between, you know, Anivia E's. Did a great job playing around the early CS lead that they won. Anivia really had to start using ults to clear waves. And in clearing the waves, they pushed out. So TG Dog did a really good job of lulling them into a sense of security. They hadn't used the W. They hadn't put down a lot of pressure while Anivia was farming under the turret. But as soon as Anivia stepped out from under the turret, jumped right in, able to ult them into the wall. It was almost like a Vayne E. It was just an absolute execution. So here we go. We've got a character switch from Janimane, but TG Dog seeing that the Tristana is working and just absolutely sticking with it. Can't blame them in the slightest. Janimane switching off of the Anivia in favor of Annie. So Annie's a lot more of a cycle-based character than Anivia is. Obviously, you know, being a mid lane champion, you're going to have cooldowns. You're going to have periods of time where you just can't do stuff. But Annie in particular, you're playing around that passive. You're playing around, I believe it's every 4th spell or every 3rd. I don't play the champion. I just remember playing against her. Every set number of skills that she hits, she's going to get that stun up. So, on the one hand, you know exactly when she's going to go in. But when she is going to go in, you really, really have to respect her ability to just lock you in place and do all of her burst at once. You know, Tristana does have a jump, but it's not like it's an instant blink or anything like that. If she gets Tibbers dropped on her head, she isn't going anywhere before Annie has hit at least 3 spells on her. It's also going to be nice for Annie to have that shield, to be able to put that up when she knows that the Tristana E is going to go off on her, or she's going to get bursted from something. It's not exactly a tank, but it's at least something that can negate some chip damage here and there. Threw me for such a loop when Annie came out in TFT and people were building Gargoyle Stoneplate on her. Like, my god. Like, Annie can get a little on the bulky side, especially if she's getting ahead. It's not out of the question to, I don't know, build a Morello's or something like that and get just a little bit of extra bulk to her, but she is a burst mage. She is not a tank. Five seconds. This could be the deciding... No, this will not be the deciding game. Because TG Dog from the loser's bracket won game 1. So this will either be the equalizer that can put Janimane on tournament point, or it'll put us into set 2. Shoutouts to Dragon Trainer Tristana. Actually going and getting the skin that's used in TFT. So Janimane definitely at a skin disadvantage here. You know, skins get wins. That's how it works. Interesting. So Tristana opting for, instead of the boots, the dagger for the attack speed here. So just going for even more damage. Meanwhile, you've got a Guardian's Orb coming out of Annie here. Doesn't seem to be too worried about mana problems or anything like that. Just going for as much damage and AP as they possibly can. Oh wait, this does have a mana effect on it. What am I talking about? It doesn't give you base mana, but it gives you this, restores 10 mana every 5 seconds. Serves me right for not reading. Oh, and it gives you HP as well. Alright. So yeah, that is a really good sustain item, actually. Ooh. So gets jumped on right away. The shield blocks some of that damage, and the stun goes off. So almost an even trade. TG Dog, though, you have to feel like is still coming out just a little bit better in that trade, and that will only build with time. But good to see that Janamane is coming out here with a plan. You know, the shield and the stun were both used very effectively there. Didn't get caught off guard by the engagement coming at a bad time or anything like that. Stun is almost up, but not quite. There it goes. So TG Dog stopped, but Janamane takes a lot of damage in the meantime. Janamane really needs these engagements to come when the stun is up. If the stun's not up, it's just way too much damage coming out of TG Dog. Janamane can't sustain that. Oh, and here's that damage, that early damage coming out to the turret. That explosion does so much to turrets. And that may be a part of TG Dog's, plan here. Like, coming out with a Tristana, an AD carry that is specifically very good at taking out turrets. Being able to use all of the win conditions at their disposal here. Oh, there's the level 6 from Annie here. They might... if I were Janamane, I might, try and hover behind the turret just to hide the fact that the stun is up still. Because that visual effect does kind of give it away. You kind of learn, as a League of Legends player, to be afraid of that little swirl. But I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of a trick play in surprising them with that. At this point, I think TG Dog knows, and Janamane has been saving it, honestly, for a very long time here. Might just want the wave to push under the turret before they go for anything. Maybe they're trying to lock TG Dog under the turret with the stun. Maybe they're banking on that happening. It'd be an awfully big mistake for TG Dog to make. Alright. Oh, completely whiffs the Tibbers. TG Dog is going to be able to just auto that down without a care in the world. Man. Yeah, it looks like Janamane was betting on, some kind of little trick play there. Trying to bait TG Dog in by not being that aggressive, but now with the ult down, ooh. That stun actually puts the trade in Janamane's favor, though. Has to be pretty careful right now, but the wave is pushing toward them. So, yeah, the CS was always going to be in TG Dog's favor, but, oh man, Janna actually really needs to get the kill right now, otherwise they're going to lose their turret on the next wave. There's really no chance here if the kill doesn't come out. They're going to have to drop the... I would guess that you drop the Ignite pretty early in this engagement, and just go for it. Yeah, oh man, you gotta just flash in, kill him. Yeah, it's over. TG Dog taking us to set 2 of Grands, and also taking the turret for good measure. Yeah, great play around the stuns there, I think whiffing the ultimate was just the kind of a game-ending mistake there. And if that had gone differently, you know, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Look up to the sky, aim for the sun. Hold your head up high. No need to run, to run. Stand by your side. I will be. Stand by your side.
Alright, the invite has gone out to Janimane. There they are. Cool. Alright, well, Janimane taking advantage of the fact that they were able to get here from the winner's side. They've now got a lot of data on how this Tristana is playing. And they haven't found a counter strat just yet. Now, the question, of course, becomes, will they be able to, switch to something that does counter? Will TG Dog switch it up, knowing that Janimane is expecting the Tristana? So they have been showing a lot of specifically Yone that we have seen so far. So that's also something that might be coming out. Janimane, of course, has been running a couple of different champions. Got most of the way through the bracket with the Xerath, which we haven't seen at all yet so far this this set. And we do end on Anivia versus Yone. So there's that for all of 2 seconds it's going to be on screen. Oh, right, spectator delay. Never mind. So, something we've been seeing from the Yones a lot is they just have a lot of sustain. The shields that they're able to get by using that one ability, I believe the Q on enemy champions. I might be wrong about that, correct? No, the Q is the dash. The skill shot that can become a dash. I think it's the W that gives the shield. So that shield has been keeping them alive in a lot of like lower damage trades, with just an auto attack or two. But Anivia does have the burst that she might be able to poke through that. It's just a question of how well she can, avoid getting all-in by the ult, by the E. Kind of kite that Yone back using the slows and the stun that's in her kit. All right. Getting started. First game of set number 2 of Grand Finals. Between Janimane XD, formerly Anivia mid only, is something that they had in their status on League of Legends. So, clearly Anivia, one of the champions that they've played an awful lot. Versus TG Dog's Yone. It looks like he's going to play this aggressive brush strat once again. Anivia going for the Guardian's Orb combined with the Amplifying Tome, just getting as much AP punch as possible. Try and poke through that shield that TG Dog has been using to great effect. TG Dog hooked up once again with the Guardian's Hammer and Boots. You can try and chase the bird down when given the opportunity. Worth noting that in combination with the movement speed that you're getting from those boots, he's also going to have movement speed out of the E. So the gap close from Yone is going to be pretty significant. Might also enable him to dodge some skill shots that wouldn't otherwise be able to get away from. Q does have a pretty big radius, but it's very slow moving as well. So both of them missing to start things off. Just a couple of Anivia auto attacks traded back and forth, which is basically nothing. Nothing to worry about here. TG Dog, another AD champion, might be tricky for the Anivia to get last hits initially. We saw that be a factor in the Tristana games. Does hit the W, but not going to get much out of that. Just scares Anivia away from a few creeps, maybe. And honestly, that's all they need to do at this point. Also, hovering the bush like that, very threatening. With a level advantage, you know, an all-in is definitely not out of the question right here. It's a whole bunch of creeps right there that Anivia is going to try and want to get out. And auto-attack down. Goes for a stun, doesn't hit it. And that's going to be a big opening for TG Dog, but too close to the turret. Doesn't want to dive in there under it. Might just be waiting for the ult to come back to, or to level up. Be able to go all in. There's the level 6 for Yone. But I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to use it unless he feels like diving under a turret at this Anivia. Yeah, Anivia going to hit level 6, so no level 6 one ult engage. Uneven ult. I don't know. I can't think of a clever word to call that. Ooh, big stun. Hits the E. And that's going to be a turret shot as well. So TG Dog trying to punish the aggression with an overextension of their own. Going to be able to grab this health pickup. Janimane seeing it and goes up to scoop some of that up themselves. But TG Dog has another one that Janimane dare not go after. So basically it negates the effect of the engagement there. But Janimane actually pushing up and getting under TG Dog's turret this time. So not going to just kind of let the minions passively take his turret down. There goes the E and an auto attack. Some good harass coming out here from Janimane. Ooh, but there's all-in potential from TG Dog here. Does he have ult? Did have ult, opted not to go for it. I'm surprised, actually. Maybe he's looking to pop the passive before he goes for that. But Janimane now at a level advantage and a significant health disadvantage, although, again, the egg passive still up for Janimane, has not been popped yet. Apologies if you heard some banging noises. Cat shenanigans. Janimane just gonna, you know, stay in the bush here. Knows that they're not gonna get the minion lead anyway. And the gold doesn't matter because they're not gonna back. Oh, but that... Oh, passive is gonna be popped here. Gonna do as much damage as they can to the egg passive here, but not going to get the kill just yet. And there's a stun, there's an ult, there's an E. Almost forces TG Dog to take a turret shot, and oh my god! Wait, forces him away. Oh, that was so smart. The ult placement was just gorgeous there. How much HP? How much HP? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Low, low double digits. Nutty. Great game to start off set 2 of Grand Finals. Yeah, that ult placement was really clutch. That's the sort of thing that you get from experience on a champion like that. Because TG Dog, you know, sitting on that ult, definitely not great. Having to walk all the way back through it, also not great. So he really wants to just cheat against the edge of its radius, which happened to be very dangerously close to the turret. Kind of Venn diagrammed, stuck in there. And that just made him a perfect target for Anivia's skill shots. So all the damage going down from that. Didn't even need the wall to space him out that way. Alright. So, despite coming all the way through the losers bracket after losing in their very first round of the tournament and getting the bracket reset in set 1 of Grand Finals, this right here is tournament point for Janamain and not TG Dog. Janamain making really great use of the passive there, knowing exactly where their limits were, being willing to take that fight that being willing to space close enough anyway to get that fight going that led to the passive being popped, knowing that, you know, the egg is going to hatch, you're going to get all your health back, and you can maybe go in again after that. Any damage that they dealt back, you know, during that engagement was just gravy. Granted, you know, Yone ults you, he's going to lock you up. He's going to do a lot of damage pretty quickly. You're not going to get a lot of time to retaliate. Not a bunch of auto attacks to wear him down or anything, but... Oh my goodness. 1 second. So I know you've heard a lot of them so far in this tournament, but I do want to make a big shout out to Rec as well as E&E. They do a lot of great work for us. They're very engaged with us. They do a great job of promoting all their events, which, I mean, That's that's kind of the goal, isn't it? An organization like that. So, big thanks to them for making the event tonight such a success. And big thanks to all of you for showing up for it. It's been a lot of fun to cast our way through this. That said, it's time for us to get into Game 2. Janimane XD on tournament point here. TG Dog needs to win the next 2 in a row. But if they do, they will win. Going back to exactly the same matchup that was played Game 1. TG Dog sticking to the Yone. Wants the run back, I guess. Janimane XD sticking to what was working before. Anivia mid only. Well, you know, there's only one lane here, and it goes right through the middle. So, it's close enough to a mid lane, I would say. Oh, Janimane just walks into the trap this time, right there in the bush. Doesn't take a ton of damage for it, but also important to remember, you know, Anivia's health pool a little bit lower than that of the Yone. They're just going to sit safely under the turret, let their health regen back. Yeah, they're only going to be about 100 down when they get back into lane. That's not a big deal. Same builds that we have come to expect from both of these champions. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. Neither of them using their Poro snacks, though. A little bit disappointing. Got these hungry little guys running all around here, looking for a snack. I don't know, he might not be in the greatest position right now. You kind of don't want to be in the middle of this fight, buddy. If it gets cold under your feet, run, alright? That's what Yone's telling this Poro right now. He seems like the kind of guy who would be nice to a little Poro. Oh no. Completely whiffs on the Q, and the W doesn't do anything. TG Dog gonna go in and take as much damage as he can get off of that. Janimane immediately going back for the health pickup, and is going to be able to zone TG Dog away from it, so gets that one all to himself. Again, like we've come to expect, Anivia at the CS deficit, going to be trying to end the game in a different way. Almost certainly through kills, because the pressure on turret is not fantastic either. I was wondering if we might be able to see Anivia come online to the point that the wave clear was good enough that they were going to be able to push. But looks like that sort of power spike only happens on Summoner's Rift. That's late game Anivia stuff. It's not like you're ever going to be like sieging an inhibitor at level 6. Maybe some of you guys have seen a game where that has happened, but it has never been me. Not even in bot games, I think. Again, a little bit of chip damage, but nothing that's really done more than some cuts and bruises to TG Dog. And, you know, we're seeing Janimane, like, not even really go for the CS that much. They kind of recognize that that win condition isn't even available to them, so, like, why risk anything to get it? Able to flash. Oh, Yone, interestingly, doesn't get the health pickup. I mean, it's still a big win for him. Got the flash out, too. But, Yeah, pushing is just like a really dangerous proposition for the Anivia here. You really want the egg to be popping close enough to turret that they have to be careful about whether they push it. But is opting to just kind of ult the wave and push it forward. Oh. Maybe trying to take advantage of the ult cooldown, but whiffs a couple of attacks there, does TG Dog. So Janimane coming out of that a lot better than they could have. Now there's the ult. That's definitely going to get the passive out, but TG Dog is so weak right now, needs to just retreat, needs to not take this fight and grab the health pickup instead. And this puts Janimane at a significant advantage for now. It's just a question of how well TG Dog can sustain back up and whether he can take advantage. The second health pickup, you know, bringing him back to 2/3 or so. This isn't even that big of an advantage for Janimane right now. I think that's just a straight-up win for TG Dog at this point. Also, the wave is pushed out really dangerously far. Ult is going to be up. Ooh, there's a stun. Not much more follow-up to that. What's the cooldown here? 75 seconds. So that's not a super long time. It's a couple of minion waves away. Anivia's passive definitely going to be a lot longer there. You can see 192, 191. So honestly has time for 2 ults before that passive is back up. That is plenty of time for TG Dog to do what he's got to do. You know, I don't know if that's enough time to get the CS win, but he's definitely on track for that. Hasn't really done much to the turret at all yet. Hasn't wanted to push that far up. So that's been a good job by Janimane there, negating that particular win condition. And yeah, Janimane, I completely respect this. Like, don't take any fights that you don't want to take. He's the one who's farming for minions, so maybe take advantage of an auto attack that he goes for if you don't think it's safe. There's an ability used. Puts the ult down, and oh my goodness, so much damage getting blocked. Oh, has to ult out of there. That's a big win for Janimane. That was a really important initiation tool that just completely got burned without doing anything there. Because the ult on the wall, you do not want to be taking that damage as TG Dog. Neither player with any sustain items left, of course. You'd probably expect that at that point. Unfortunately, both of them with their Poro snacks still. I hate to see the Poros going hungry. Oh, goes under the turret, actually, to get the burst of the E. Still going for it. I don't think they actually applied the frost debuff there with the ult. Does it have a cooldown or something? The E didn't look like it did more damage than usual. That was weird. Wow. Really aggressive play all of a sudden coming out from Janimane. But at the cost of a lot of mana. Might literally just walk backwards. Oh, going for the health pickup, I think. It doesn't restore mana, if I recall correctly. Oh, it does restore a little bit. Okay. So probably going back for the mana more than anything. Okay. Some great sustain coming back there from Janimane. And now Janimane just kind of needs to... Okay, there's the flash out. Wow. Just kind of needs to burn as much as they can and try and take TG Dog out. I think they recognize that they're not going to get that passive up. Well, maybe they will get that passive up by the time that the CS victory is a possibility. But definitely need to play extremely aggressively to forestall that for as long as possible. Because time is running out. And, you know, they have given themselves the win condition of getting this kill. But at 8 seconds, oh man, this is the window for TG Dog to go for the fight. Because the egg is not up quite yet. It is up now! Oh my god, it was literally that second. And the... Oh, that's so huge for Janimane. Oh my god. We were literally watching the tenths of a second tick down as that ult made contact. Oh my goodness. Janimane going to play so aggressive right now. Going to let that wave, you know, sit there as long as possible. TG Dog doesn't have any sustain items to come back in with. So Janimane has the fight advantage, but 84, you know, if this crashes under turret, that puts him so close to that win condition. Also puts him so close to a lot of sustain to get him back up. So yes, Janimane has the fight advantage right now, but is time on their side? There's the E from TG Dog. Goes for the health pickup, gets frozen, and the first blood goes to Janimane. Oh my goodness. What a game. That was a phenomenal grand finals to watch. Absolutely clutch timing from Janimane. Like, they could not have taken that fight a tenth of a second later, or earlier, or they would have died in that fight right there. So, very clutch. Very fun to watch. That will conclude the UT Austin tournament. So, I would like to give, once again, a big thank you to Rec and E&E for putting this on for us. Make sure to check out Pokepalooza on the 26th. And thank you all for watching. Ah, the music turned off and I didn't even notice because I was so focused on the game. But that is going to be it for us. So thank you everybody for watching. On behalf of Bravest Esports, thank you. Hope to see more events like this from you guys. We've had a good time doing these events for you so far, and if you're enjoying yourselves, please, by all means, contact E&E, contact Rec, let them know that you had a good time. But for now,